Labuh Larung Sembonyo is a traditional ceremony to express fishermen's gratitude for the abundant fish catch and a request for safety for Priji fishermen while at sea. The traditions and culture preserved by this community were born from myths or wisdom that developed and were believed by the people of Priji Bay. This story tells about the beginning of the opening of the Priji Bay area or chronicle, which was the forerunner or origin of the Larung Sembonyo ceremony. The community believes that this tradition, which is usually carried out on Monday Kawan in the month of Selo in the Javanese calendar, is a cultural custom that must be preserved. There will be something missing if this tradition is abandoned. The Larung Sembonyo traditional ceremony is carried out by the fishing and farming community, especially for fishermen who depend on their livelihoods in Priji Bay in honor of the ancestors who opened or chronicled the base of this bay, namely Tumengung Yudho Negoro and his four brothers. It is believed that if this ceremony is abandoned, it is feared that there will be disturbances at sea, difficulty catching fish, crop failure, epidemics, natural disasters and several other calamities. The Labuh Larung Sembonyo ceremony began in 1985 and was carried out on a large scale after previously being stopped due to an impossible political situation. Sembonyo commemoration has now become a cultural tradition agenda for the people of Trenggalek Regency which is regularly held. The Trenggalek Regency government takes part in the routine holding of this traditional Priji Bay fishing ceremony. The Labuh Larung Sembonyo traditional ceremony was held in Teluk Priji, Tasik Madu village or Karangongso district. Wachulimo. Meanwhile, traditional ceremonies or other traditional ceremonies where they are carried out in the villages of Tasik Madu, Priji, Margamulyo, Karanganu and Karangongso are called variously Siams, Larung Sembonyo, Sembonyo traditional ceremonies, Mbukal Sembonyo, Clean Sea. Sembonyo actually comes from the name of the artificial bride, which is a small doll made of sticky rice flour. This flour dough is shaped like a bride and groom who are side by side. This doll is placed on a boat complete with satang equipment, which is a tool for running and driving the boat. The depiction of an artificial bride and groom side by side on a boat is also equipped with a pair of artificial brides and grooms made from banana stem aries. These banana aries are decorated with ilang-ilang and jasmine flowers, lekari. Because the Sembonyo depicts the bride and groom, the traditional Sembonyo ceremony equipment is also equipped with offerings and other equipment, just like traditional Javanese wedding ceremonies.
The imitation of the bride and groom, called Sembonyo, is related to the wisdom that developed regarding the emergence of the Larung Sembonyo tradition. This tradition originates from an event that is believed to have existed and occurred at that time. This story tells about the marriage between Raden Nantan Gadbar Intan and Raden Tumengung Kadapatan Andong Biru or Tumengung Yodho Negoro. Raden Nantan Gadbar Intan is also known as Raden Nantan Tenahan. At the beginning of the story, when the kingdom of Surakarta became bored, it expanded and went to war, because there were still many areas that had not been opened. At that time, it is said that the king of Surakarta ordered Tumengung Yudho Negoro, who was famous as Satrio Pidali, who had extraordinary abilities in fighting, to open his territory to the east. This expansion starts from Pasatan, Subring Munjungan, Divi Kaladuwi Tulingagung and Priji Wachulimo.
Tumengung Yudho Negoro was willing to carry out the orders of the king of Surakarta on the condition that he bring his four siblings, Raden Yoda who was then ordered to develop a territory in Lorik Pasatan, Raden Yodi in Munjungan, Raden Pringo Jayang Hadalogo in Divik Kaladuwi Tulingagung, and Raden Prawiro Kusumo in Mabaguzan Besuki Tulingagung. The king accepted these conditions, and it didn't take long for the 5 knights to go to the east to develop their territory. Apart from his four brothers, Raden Tumengung Yudho Negoro was accompanied by his loyal follower Hyang Kamong. Initially, the group of 5 brothers rested in Lorik Pasatan. After it was opened, Raden Tumengung Yudho Negoro ordered his eldest brother, Prince Yorda, to develop it. The group continued their journey to the east again and landed at Sumbring Munjungan. Here Tumengung Yudho Negoro ordered his younger brother Prince Ju to develop it. When the journey was about to reach Priji Bay, the atmosphere suddenly became completely dark and impassable. At that time, Priji Bay was covered in supernatural powers that were difficult to penetrate. This group made every effort but were unsuccessful.
Because they couldn't enter, Raiden Tumengung Yudo Negoro and Hyang Pamong sat in meditation on Cam Hill asking for guidance from the Almighty Creator. Long story short, while meditating, Hyang Pamong got a clue. To be able to open the Priji Bay area, Raiden Tumengung Yudho Negoro had to be willing to marry Raiden Nantan Gambar Intan in the Tenahan area. Getting this clue, Raiden Tumengung Yudo Negoro immediately went to the beach to meditate to meet Raiden Nantan Gambar Intan in the central area and propose to him. This application is accepted with conditions. These conditions include, during the wedding, efforts to open the new Priji area begin. After opening this new area is called Priji, which will later be a place for people to earn a living. The wedding day must be celebrated every year in the month of Selo, Klawan Monday, which is marked by Siams and is celebrated Tayub entertainment. This wisdom started the birth of the Sembonyo tradition. The singing of Sembonyo and various Srazrayan and offerings are motivated by the intention, hope and request to obtain safety and obtain abundant results from the sea and land. In general, the stages of the Larung Sembonyo traditional ceremony are divided into two preparation stages, which include the Widodaran night of making Sembonyo, Mayang flowers, preparing the Enchek offerings and preparing the Jaranan art for accompaniment and the implementation stage. Meanwhile, the stage of carrying out the Larung Sembonyo ceremony is that the procession departs from the Wachilimo sub-district office to the fish auction venue, which has been decorated like a wedding party. The Sembonyo is carried out accompanied by ceremonial officials in a certain formation. This is the part that is interesting and awaited by the audience. After the procession at TPI, Sembonyo and all his accessories were floated out to sea using a fishing boat. Some visitors can ride boats provided by the Activities Committee to see the procession in the middle of the sea. This tradition continues to this day and is an interesting annual agenda and must be visited to experience the sensation. Efforts have been made by the people of Tasikmadu village to preserve the local wisdom values contained in the Larung Sembonyo tradition, namely applying these values in everyday life, educating children, especially the younger generation, providing information to people outside the area through social media and future efforts that will be made by the community by writing a book on the Larung Sembonyo tradition. It is hoped that support from various parties will support the development of the Larung Sembonyo tradition, including, 1. The community will also participate in maintaining and preserving the Larung Sembonyo tradition. 2. The Larung Sembonyo tradition contains local wisdom values because it is used as a lesson in community life. 3. The Larung Sembonyo tradition is used as a means of promotion by local governments, especially in the fields of tourism and culture. 4. The local government should increase efforts to preserve the Larung Sembonyo tradition. 5. The implementation of the Larung Sembonyo tradition is carried out by throwing offerings into the open sea as an expression of gratitude to Allah SWT and to pray for the ancestors who opened the Priji Bay area. 6. The local wisdom values contained in the Larung Sembonyo tradition are as follows: the value of mutual cooperation, B. The religious value, C. The value of unity, D. The value of art and beauty, E. The value of discipline, F. The value of kinship, G. The value of tolerance.